Did the gas station pills work? Did you get and have better sex that night? That's what we're going to talk about today. And welcome back to the RevMD podcast with me, your host, Dr. Deborah Durst, and my co-host.
Hey guys, Faraday Golombieski, family nurse practitioner here at Revitalize MD. And today we're going to talk about those gas station pills.
Yeah. So who would have thought? Like, I didn't know this was such a popular thing, but like this industry is big.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Potentially 3 to 5 billion in 2023 for gas station pills marketing for sexual enhancement like the Rhino pill. I didn't even know Rhino pill was a thing until our cameraman brought it up and put it on our table as a subject to talk about.
And you were talking about billions in revenue from this kind of product, not necessarily Rhino, but this kind of product. So who knew? So when we say like you're at the gas station, my thought is you're trying to get sex at night or you want better sex at night and
grabbing Rhino and condoms.
Yeah. And then you're out the door. And so we want to know from you, have you tried these? What do you think? And then we're going to kind of just get into the science that we found about and maybe the concerns around them. And again, but we're more interested in how I didn't realize they were this popular. So do they work? What's been your experience with them? And we're looking forward to having conversations in the comments about this one. So Rhino, there's different kind of Rhino pills. I'll let you go into that.
I'm not really super versed in those, but I know that there are really kind of when we were pulling it up and looking at the various products out there, Rhino has a lot. There's Rhino 69, Mega Rhino, Rhino Blitz Gold. They seem to be other products outside of Rhino. I think that's just maybe the most common one. At least it's the one that, like I said, our staff knew about and seems to be searched online. But they tend to be packaging that's very flashy and very attention grabbing. And they are good at saying increase your stamina, improve your erectile function, sexual enhancement pills. And they also are making promises of immediate results, immediate benefits. And the whole thing made me go, okay, well, what is in these pills?
Well, I love when they like market it for a guaranteed
enhancement.
Guaranteed enhancement.
100%.
100%. It's happening immediate.
70% of the time, it happens 100% of the time.
All the things, yes. It's never always or never, right?
Yeah.
It isn't always or never. So, and I think that, it isn't just a guarantee that you're going to have this, but I'll be curious to see what kind of responses you have had. But the big issue is that the supplement companies, the concern is these supplement companies and all supplements in the US are not regulated in any way, shape, or form. And so definitely not FDA regulated of supplements. So you don't know what's in them. And that's the issue is they can have even proprietary blend, which protects them from telling you what that blend is. Mm-hmm. So another way to hide what the ingredients are. And there's concerns that there may be actually medicinal or the PD5 inhibitor type.
Like the Viagra or the Cialis or derivatives of those meds. In these pills.
And so the issue is that no one really knows. There isn't a way to compare it, but they are supplements over the counter with no guarantees and no regulation. And so there have been reported, potentially life-threatening effects more, potential 911 calls, toxicity calls, but vision problems, chest pain, all those things with them. So all of that has been reported. Not that that isn't common with any medication as well, but it just, now you don't know what the medication is.
And so it brings up the safety profile. So on the box, apparently it says that there's ginkgo biloba and red ginseng and other ingredients, right? Their proprietary blend. So when we see that there's warnings from the FDA on this product specifically. When you see that in 2019, there has been legal action taken against pills like these for having other derivatives in them. When you are taking a Viagra or a Cialis, those are prescribed by a medical physician or provider that's looking at your health. that's looking to make sure it's safe for you to take, that your other medications aren't going to negatively cause an adverse effect with those. So when we see these increased risks of vision, chest pain, or life threatening interactions, it's because if you're a man that's on nitrite or taking nitrates or nitroglycerin and you're taking these PED5 inhibitors unknowingly, you can put yourself into a pretty life-threatening situation. And that's where, Dr. Durst has mentioned it's not like we can't have chest pain or vision or any of these side effects from other medications. The difference is that when you're taking a prescription medication, your doctor's usually saying, hey, don't take it with this medication, or you may notice this side effect. And if you do, then I want you to do this, or I want you to reduce your dose, or we need to change the medication. So usually there's a lot more conversation around it. At a gas station, you're just going in, grabbing some pills and popping who knows how many, whether you're following the directions or not.
Yeah.
And that's where the issue comes, and that's where the safety is.
Well, and I do think that a lot of times with men, it seems, at least I've seen this in part, like, again, if you say take two, it's, almost always a little bit more. And not
More is
just,
better,
yeah, more
right?
is better, always. But I do think there's also potentially some ingredients that might mimic opiates in these, and receptors. I've seen a little bit of that. Um, and then even the kratom one has been brought up as potentially being involved in this. And I actually think that's a different podcast because I've heard of that before too. And I think with a couple of those ingredients, including this kratom, have you heard that before, that term?
I've heard the term. I just haven't dug into.
I think I heard one other like longevity person guy talking about that on YouTube once and was talking about how helpful it was. So when I see that it potentially is one of the ingredients that pops in, I think because we don't know much about it, that we'll go learn about it and bring it to you, because that's another one that has opiate, might help with chronic pain. And so there's some central nervous system effect from a couple of these that can cause issues, but probably more importantly, can it cause addiction? And that was one of the questions. So I don't know how they get around that. I don't know if a lot of this is because it's the proprietary blend, but it seems to me like if you're going to market something, put it on a shelf, that you would somehow have to prove it's safe. So I'm not quite sure how I understand these to be so popular and yet so unregulated and mysterious still
Right?
all at the same time. Yeah.
So, and you would think if there were an excessive amount of deaths, right?
Yeah.
Or incidences that they would pull the product from the market, because there are supplements historically that have been pulled from the market.
Yeah.
Like weight loss supplements have been pulled from the market because of ingredients in it that caused
Problems. Yeah.
heart problems
Mm-hmm.
and death.
Yeah.
So when you kind of start doing the research and you see, there has been in 2019 some federal authorities looking and charging companies and individuals selling it by not appropriately marketing the medication. When you see that the FDA has several warnings on some of these products, it kind of makes you wonder, well, why is it
Mm-hmm.
still on the market then? Because we do pull things from the market. We've
Mm-hmm.
seen that very much so even in the last 5 years.
Yeah. Or they would end up with some kind of legal issue or something related to.
Enough where it wouldn't be available.
Yes. Yeah. Very interesting. So it'd be interesting to see that, because you're right. There are some other, I will say that it's just a mysterious product, and it's the gas station sex pill, really, I guess technically is what we're talking about. But I will just say that there was one, and again, I've did ER for greater than 20 years. So just sharing something that comes to mind with this is that I had one patient, and it was in a Knoxville hospital, that came in, and he was really tachycardic and sick, but ended up coding in the hallway awaiting a room. And you've heard of malignant hyperthermia. And that guy had malignant hyperthermia, and he was a police officer as well. and was taking a supplement of some sort. I don't think we ever got the supplement name. It was GNC. And again, I'm just the ER doc, so we're not doing all that investigative stuff. But a young, healthy guy doing a supplement that came in with a condition that's pretty rare and actually more common with anesthesia, and not a supplement, but malignant hyperthermia just causes your temperature of the body to go up so much so that it's incompatible with life. And you become very rigid and stiff as well. So when we were trying to intubate him, we could not get him relaxed enough at first to
For an
get the tube
airway.
in. And that's how it became pretty obvious that then he was like, stiff, but also his temperature was like 108. And so, but that was just from a supplement, just to say that it isn't that it's not a real concern, and if it happens to you, it's 100% a concern and 100% an issue. And so, that was just a bad outcome from some kind of supplement. And, there's hyperthermic supplements too that are supposed to help with metabolism. So just know that getting a pill at the gas station might not be the
Best
the
route.
best route. And so, and I just think there's too much up in the air unknowns with this, and not regulated. And regulated and safe is one thing, regulated and unknown is a different matter, and proprietary things kind of keep things in the dark. So
Yeah.
so
And we're
those are
not against Viagra and Cialis. We have done a ton of podcasts on sexual wellness, on sexual enhancement medications, on the options that are out there for men. Everyone should be able to have great sex whenever they want to and have the ability to do that. But in a product like this, that it is so unregulated that there are some health concerns, we would really suggest bypassing the gas station and seeing a provider.
Yeah, I know we're all for that. We're big fans of
Yeah.
everyone having great sex forever. But again, we like to know what we're using when we're helping patients get
Mm.
that. So I think you should know what you're taking too. So anyhow, let us know your thoughts about the gas station sex pills,
I have a feeling we're going to get
and let
lots of
us,
comments. People are going to love it. People are going to hate it. I think we're going to see some good
yeah.
conversation on this one.
Well, and there's always good conversation. So thank you for being so active in the comments, and they're great topics as well and fun to talk about. But also, we do have a Facebook group for men, and so there'll be a link in the description. So then it allows you an opportunity and maybe a smaller environment to have better conversation. So, and then let us know if there's anything else you want to talk about, because we are willing to deep dive into anything wellness or sexual wellness.